Hey drawing students, I'm going to go through a few of the materials that you'll need for your next project. You're going to need your general sketch and wash pencil. You'll need your 2B pencil, which might not look like this, but it'll say 2B on it. You'll need your 2 erasers. This one which clicks out for smaller, finer work. This you can use for just about everything. You'll have 3 brushes, which will look different than this, but will approximate these brushes. So I'm going to put these aside for now and talk a bit about working with pencil in general. So we're not going to do tons of graphite work, which is what pencil is made of in this class, but it is a material that, like all the materials we're going to use in this foundational class, something that you could spend months and months working on. So I'm just going to show you when a graphite artist or somebody who uses pencil a lot often will work with a full kit of pencils. So they go from the hardest, meaning when you draw with it, the lightest line, to the softest, meaning it gives you a very dark line and is very, you can push it around a lot and erase it and make it almost like charcoal. So if you're interested and you like graphite, please investigate it. You can get yourself a nice kit if you want, or just buy a couple other weights. We have the 2B because it's a very versatile pencil, and it'll work for us. You also have something called an ebony pencil in your kit, and that's a beautiful soft pencil. I don't have one with me right now, but you have that, and you can go ahead and bring that out and try it as you like. So I'm going to just work with the 2B for right now, and we used it on the 4th drawing of your contour project, and I'm showing you right now how we all generally hold a pencil. You might hold it like this when we write. So if I'm writing, I tend to hold the pencil far down and use quite a bit of pressure, and I'm working at a slant, and I'm using the same motion as every single time so that I can regularize my writing. And we call that a writing hold. For drawing, if I draw that way, I can really only kind of do the same small area, right? I've only got this little area that I can work with when I'm holding the pencil like this. Sometimes we do need to hold the pencil like this if we're doing a small thing and we want to draw small. But if we want to work a little bigger and a little looser, I'm going to encourage you to hold the pencil a little further up on there, and to kind of rest your pinky, if you want to, a little bit above the paper. And this way you can sort of use a broader area of your hand. You can move more fluidly around the page. I like to use my pinky a lot to sort of rest on the page to get sort of broader lines. If I was holding like this, it would be a very different kind of line that I would be getting, and I might be able to get a straight line like that. But when you're just sort of seeing where things might go at first and keeping things light and loose, I just want to encourage you to notice how you're holding the pencil, how your wrist is moving, and that's really an important part of drawing with pencil, with pen, with charcoal, and we'll investigate that as we go through all the materials we have. So another thing about pencil, and you're noticing it here, is if I press down really hard with a 2B, I'm going to get a nice rich dark line, and if I press barely at all, I'm going to get a very light line. And then there's all this variation in between, right? So sometimes I'm pressing hard, sometimes I'm pressing light, and that's something that we call weight of line. And so weight of line is really the thickness or the thinness of a line. So with one graphite, this is not so true of all materials, but with graphite, certainly, the way that we determine, how light or how dark a line is by pressure. So I can go as dark or as light as I want based on pressure, right? So if you're wanting to build light and dark, and light and dark are, I wrote park, didn't I? Dark, is tonal value. So we're going to talk about tonal value when we're talking about light and dark. We're going to call it tonal value. And so tonal value is something when you're trying to determine the lightness or darkness of an object, you're thinking about the value of it, the tonal value. So with your pencil, oftentimes people will, to get tonal value, use something called shading. And so you're kind of building light and dark. You can scribble it in. You can go really softly and gently build the value up. You could go kind of dark with the pencil and build that value. And you can see there are 3 values here: light, medium, and dark. And you can, with pencil, you can kind of smush things around a little bit. You can blend, as they say. There are tools for this. They will get you very fine gradations of tonal value. So you can play around with your pencil a little bit and see how your 2B is working for you. You can use your eraser to see how well your eraser erases a 2B. So I'm pressing down as hard as I can here to erase the darkest value that I put down there, and you can see what remains as a tone. I can erase the lightest values up here, and you can see what remains as a tone. So basically you can build light and dark with pencil in all of those ways, through weight of line, dark lines versus light lines. You can smush it around. You can take away value to bring out lights. And I'd like you to just play with your pencil in that way and just see how that feels to you. Again, to learn your tool in a way that maybe you haven't used it before. Okay, so that's your 2B pencil using your eraser, talking about weight of line. There are other ways that we can build value with line, and that's called using the mass of line. And so sometimes we call these scribble drawings. But if I wanted to try and feel an object as a mass, I might kind of build it from the inside out and kind of scribble it this way. And you can build tonal value this way too, by basically letting the line build up on one side versus another side. And you can play with this idea too. Again, you can pull light out of it if you want to. You can play with it this way. All right, so 2 different kind of ways of describing light on an object. All right, so again, you can play with those ideas. You can think about what weight of line does, the darkness of line under something might give that some value. Think about shadow, light and shadow. All right. So these are all pencil 2B. I'm going to move us along to using your Sketch and Wash pencil. So again, with this playing, you want to kind of play around with this pencil and see what it feels like. And it feels different in a couple of ways to me. One of the things about it is that it's a deeper pencil right away. The value of it is darker. And so I can build to a darker mass much more quickly. When I try and smudge it around, it surprisingly doesn't smudge as much as your ebony pencil, which is a darker pencil, will smudge. And so, you know, you can notice that too. And what I'd like to show is how water moves on this kind of a thing. So with this pencil. So it's sort of like a nice intermediate between ink and pencil, because I'm going to go over here and just dip my brush into my water and kind of show you what it does when you put water on top of that tone. And we're working with this kind of thin sketch paper, so notice that it wrinkles. That's all right. You can go slightly lighter with the water, and don't rub it in too much or it'll kind of disintegrate the paper. So notice how the water's moving around and picking up the graphite and dispersing it. And you can play with that, all right? One thing that I did notice about the graphite pencil is that it doesn't really erase very well. And so we're gonna talk about when we move on to using it, how we'll manage that. So it's super fun to play around with it. I really like it. But this is what we're going to be using for this next project, okay? And we'll start that in a minute. Just wanted to show you what I'd like you to do, which is to play with your 2B pencil and the Sketch and Wash first, just in your sketch pad. All right, great.